Welcome everybody, my name is Mike Hamilton from Trade the Easy Way, and I'm just going to take you through what I'm seeing in the markets and give you one or two trade ideas and tell you what I'm doing. I am currently in this oil, and so that's the Sunday bar. I could correct it, but I quite like seeing where the Sunday range was, so I would leave Sunday on, but so this was so we had the big sweep up into the initial Iranian strikes, pulled back, boomerang back to support, and then pretty much went sideways last week. And here we are, beginning of the new week, just dipping back into last week's support. So 72 holds, I'd expect to see some 75, and if 75 holds, I'd expect to see 80. So I'm looking for, my target is 75, but like I said, if I think we might, if we can bounce through that, then 75 or 74, 88 is buyable to see if we can punch up there. Okay, and of course if we close down here, then scrap, I'm going to be stopped out and I will walk away. But that's what I'm seeing in oil. In fact, I've just been taken out, so that's fine. I took it up to 74 and then took it out and then bought back at 72, but it's punched through my little. So I'm taking trades with tight stops here because I'm using leverage, and that's just given a little bit of profit back as that's been pushed back. Markets are really crazy. So we've got the Dow. And then I quickly want to get on the stocks. Come on, what's going on? Right, so Dow has just pulled back into support. You can see last Thursday we dipped into this fib zone, pushed up on the Friday, and here we are pushing back into this support on the Monday. And so if we can hold, and just because there's a war on doesn't mean to say the market's going to be negative. I have been selling highs. I'm selling these highs ever since this 11th of June move up here. So my next target for a short would be up there at 42,750. Let's get a nice red bar. Hang on. I'd like to see a return to that sell signal, and then short that to see if we can come and find 40,700 and possibly lower. So we're in summer doldrums, so that's why I have been talking about taking profits in certain stocks. Took profits in Prudential, Advanced Medical, BT, and POLR, and just going to sit on my hands for a bit as we get into this seasonal slowdown. Okay, so if the Dow doesn't get up there and starts to close underneath 41,800, then I would short any test of 42,000 to see if that can drop. On the bull side, if we hold up today and close above 42.5, then I would be a buyer and then look to see if we can get up to 44. But given the seasonality, given the geopolitics, and given this particular chart where we've already had a sell signal on the 11th of June, I think we're lower. Quick look at the FTSE and then we'll move on quickly. My charts are taking an age. FTSE looks very vulnerable up here. I would expect to see a full test of 8600, which is not that far from where we are now, 8737, with the FTSE closed 90 minutes ago. So any test of, actually let me move that down. So I think any test of 88.20 is to be shorted for this to at least retest 86. Wheat's had a bounce, so just moving across. Wheat pushed up close to 6 and has since dropped back to 5.7. So if this support holds, so huge move up on the Wednesday 18th, so we could come all the way back to 5.50, 5.60. If we hold and push up, I would expect to see at least 6 and ultimately get up to $657. Alright, so what I'm looking for is, oh, you can't see my pen, can you? Just realised I'm drawing on this with a pen that you can't see. I'll explain more in a minute. Let me find the pen that you can see then. Right, got it. So we've got a 1, 2, 3 wave correction after this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after a 5 and 3, you're basically back to starting point. So if this is the starting point and we start to close above 580, then I think we can wind up. If we close under 550, then we've had it, and this could even breach the $5. Okay, but I'm bullish on the wheat and have been for a long time. It's just taking a lot longer to build than I expected. Right, stocks. Let's move on to my list first and then we'll look at your list. Oops, that's the wrong one. Right, on the right one now. Let's start off with IQE. So we pushed up out of this pattern. So any subsequent moves back into 10 I think is buyable. Stop underneath. Ideally 8. You don't want to get too close, you want to give it some wiggle room, and then if we can potentially get back up to 18 and 20. RSI is getting high, but the volumes are not bad. MACD closing above the midline, but any break like that, normally any break of a trend like that can give you a squirt higher. So we could be looking at a repeat of what happened here in the latter part of 24 and early part of 25. Okay, that would be nice if that happens. If not, I won't cry in my tea. And let's look at, I know you guys have been looking at Creo. Creo's had a nice punch up, so this is potentially a buy zone around the 13, 14 mark. If we subsequently close above 15, then I think we're going to go and see 20. If we close underneath 14, that this may not work. We could come right the way back down to the breakup area and even lower. But at the moment, this looks like a decent pullback as long as we start to close higher in the next couple of days. Let's move a bit faster. Here's BT, taking profits in BT. It could still go, but given the volatility and the noise out there, we're very high on the RSI, very high on the MACD. So we've had a nice run. I'm just taking profits, but I've always talked about £2. Well, not always. I have recently talked about £2, and we could so easily go up there. But I decided to bail out in view of the volatility we're seeing. I would love to see 150 to get back in. Man Group. So I'm liking this drop in Man Group. I would love to see 150. But if we come and hold 164 on volume, I will buy. CBG, I've missed out on this one. Close Brothers. I'd love to see 270 again. I'm going to be patient with that one. QQ. Decent pull, but now this is major support on QQ. If we could so easily come lower, break under 490, we're going to see at least 450 and possibly lower. But if this holds, I can see this popping back to 6 and beyond. Really nice breakout pattern here. So we break up, we pull back into support, into a previous little breakup area, and then we go on this run. And now we've had a 3-wave pullback. So if 490 holds, I'll be a buyer of QQ. Stop me or punching questions if you have any. Tolo we looked at. I'm not in it. Wow, that's a huge sell signal up there. So I would look for a deeper pullback to 15 if you're interested in that. Oil obviously is doing well. I'm just tripping through a few charts here now. Hiscox, this is a pullback into support. Advanced Medical Solutions, which I'm out of, is still punching higher. Vodafone. So 70, so we've hit this resistance and dropped back. I think it's alright. Volume last week was very well supported. So this is a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a 1, 2, 3 correction, potentially all the way down to 73, would not be at all bad as long as we hold down here. And then ultimately I would look to go back to 77, 75, 77, up to 82, and then up to the pound mark. But close under 72.50 and could so easily just drop right back. Alright, so if you're in it, like me, just sit tight and keep your stop out of trouble. If you've got a long-term view, if you're trading the swings, then 78 was your first target, and then an entry at 73 should be your next. Otherwise, look, if you're long-term, just stay put. Right, let's look at Capita. You want to look at Capita. Come on. Let's go and find that one. It's not on my list. I'll take. This is very strong. There's a lot of, let's look at a weekly. Wow. I'm personally, I think this is overdue a breather. No idea why it's up there anyway. But when things break and go that crazy, it's very difficult to predict. The only thing I could do here is this. Yeah, a consolidation, topping, who knows? It's so the next major resistance is up there at 480. This is on a weekly chart, so a very nice move up last week. We kicked off at 250 and we tested 290. I mean, if you, it's up to you. It's had a massive run. Volumes in recent weeks have been tailing off. If it was my stock, I'd be taking profit. But if you've got a long-term view and you think that's going to go to £4 plus, then stay put, ignore me and stay put. But yeah, I mean, there's certainly no reason to sell it, put it that way. And if we, anytime soon we close above £293, then yeah, I would expect £4 and £5 coming quite soon. Sabre, I hesitated on this one, so I'm going to sit tight and wait for that to ideally come back to 125, which is, I don't think that's a big ask. I think the markets get a bit more shaky. Hopefully that will come down. Renew. Yes, everything's hit all resistance. Well, I say everything. Quite a lot of stock I've been looking at and we've been talking about has hit resistance and is coming off, pulling back at the very least. Just going down my list. Right, let me punch in a few different ones I'm looking at. I'd like to look at Rolls-Royce. I would really like that to come down to at least £8. If it comes down to £8, then I think we can get going. So the last run was... Wow, I'm going to take this. I would really love to see 780. May not see it. I mean, if that closes above 950, this recent high, then that's going to get to 10 and potentially 11 plus pretty quick. Sometimes you just have to buy high, but that's all down to you and your risk parameters and your trade plan. But I would much rather see that dip further first. I want to look at the other ones I want to look at. You want to look at Nike. That's Oracle, that's gone. I need a pullback. Let's look at Nike. And I want to take a walk around some of the oil companies. Right, it's not had a great time recently, has it? I haven't looked at this for a while. So the last run was here. Okay, if you're bullish, if you're in it, I would stay put. If you're looking to get into it, I would wait for a touch of 58.30, 58.20. 58 will be even better. And if that holds, so the volumes have been doing very well in this. If that holds, I would expect to see this creep up. So we've got resistance across there, we've got support under there. As long as we stay above, so ideally take a pullback. But if we start closing higher here and break above 63, then I can see that going to 70 plus. It looks like a bullish chart. We need to see more confirmation, more pull through. This is a weak market, so this has got relative strength. We've seen results Thursday, right? This has got real relative strength because the markets are weak at the moment with all the noise, and this one is pullbacks in this one are getting bought. So I think that bodes well. Anything else you want to look at? I'm just flicking through a few charts here. No, that's still too high. I was going to look at oil stocks. hunting group. I would 250. If hunting comes down to 250 and holds, I would buy. With a stop under, I would get out if that closes under 240. I think hunting is a good one. GKP looks like that needs a pull back to 145. Shares, look at the big boys, or big stocks I should say. That's at resistance. And BP. BP looks as if that might come down to 375. It's had a severe drop in April, so I would be very cautious and wait if it does drop to 375. I'll wait for confirmation that that could hold. Right, let's have a quick flick through one or two others. Rock copper looks lower short term. Tallow we looked at. Right, let's have a quick look at financials. Let's look at retails. We don't often look at retails. Smiths. Short term lower, long, so possibly around the 10 mark. ASOS has been active recently. I think ASOS looks like it's a high risk, but if that holds 275, I can see that perking up to 360 plus. So I think it's time to risk something in ASOS. EasyJet I meant to look at earlier. I think that's coming all the way down to 485, 490. If it does and holds, I will get back in. But I took profits out at, can't remember exactly where, but around the 580, 590. No. Okay, no more questions coming in, so thanks very much for joining me, and I will leave it there. Let's just, before you go, let's just look at how the markets are behaving. Dow's bounced, okay. Done a significant bounce. And the wheat is picking up. Alright, yeah, so we're coming up off of this support at the moment, and that's running up. Alright, thanks very much, and see you soon.